just maybe chime in with the one very recent example. I think my fellow practitioners here, we're well versed with default forms of contract that are in the system. So in a certain sense, we seem to take the view that, okay, it's supposed to be like that. I think one thing that I've noticed in my current work here is that read the contract very carefully, because, for example, my current contract here states and defines in an entire section schedule what does change mean. So what happened is that, when we were trying to trigger off a few VO claims, on our general understanding, the client would actually turn back and tell us this does not fall under the definition of change as in the contract, you see. So I think in a certain sense, one thing that we need to be a little bit more mindful as an administrator is we better read the contract thoroughly first. Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things. Over a recent case, we have a client who, wanted us to brief them on every clause in the contract and what it means. Okay, we went through the whole session with the whole panel, and then there was suggestion to change certain clauses, obviously to the advantage of the client. And we took a stand to say, look, you can change, but you cannot empower us to change it. You have to get a legal advice, because I say you change one clause, it may affect another clause. And at the end of the day, we cannot be responsible as a contract administrator to ensure that everything ties up properly. So in the end, it stuck to whatever was in the original SIA condition of the contract.
So that's also another interesting topic point that you brought up, because there are instances where the client wants to change something and they ask me whether it's okay or not. Or let's say the contractor says they want to change something in their contract between them when they're getting awarded. So the client will turn around to ask me to say, do you think this is okay? My opinion is that I think because we are still not lawyers, and there are so many clauses that reference each other. When you change something like what you mentioned, right? Is it watertight?
Yes.
We're not in a position to do that. So for me, what I told the client was that I feel that it's okay, but it's best you get a lawyer to vet through, because it's beyond my expertise.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we kind of told the client. It's not to change. If you want to, you better get a lawyer to look into it.
Proper legal advice.
And also, I think one thing just to add in is that to your earlier question is that I think no party within a contract should be allowed to unilaterally alter the terms, especially if it's coming to agreement or post-agreement, at least not without a supplementary agreement that is attached to it. I think many times, as Stephen had always pointed out, the client wants to put a change or something like that. And, as an administrator, you know that this change is not so-called supported within the terms of the contract. So the part, and back to the temperament part, and this is where you need to tactfully explain to the client that, measures must be taken correctly, or so that, the terms can be altered to all parties' agreement again.